Hello, so I am Chef Renetta, and today we're going to prepare a holiday turkey. So I know that everyone has been making turkeys for many years, but what I'm going to do is just give you some tips on how I prepare my holiday turkey. It's different versions. You can make it however you like, but I start with a simple brine. So I brine the turkey for at least 24 hours. Then I inject the turkey, and then after I inject the turkey, I let it the injection stay for about 5 to 6 hours, and then I either roast the turkey or we will fry it. It just depends on how you like it. You can also do this with a turkey breast as well. If you use a turkey breast, I would just cut back on the amount of salt and the amount of time that you let it brine. So what we're going to start with, we have our turkey here. So we just have a young turkey. It's about 14 to 16 pounds. And it's inside a brine bag. If you all can see, I love these brine bags. So you can put your turkey in, put it inside of a bowl, and then you can put your brine right on top of it, put it in the refrigerator, and it makes for easy cleanup. And then also for our brine, we have some apple juice. You all can see. I have some apple juice, and we also use brown sugar in this brine. So what I did was mix the brown sugar with the apple juice. We're going to use some water. So we have our water here. And the good thing is measuring everything out at the beginning. If you measure it out early, then you can just mix your ingredients together and it makes it very simple. We have some kosher salt. And we use a good bit of salt in this recipe, but the thing about it is the turkey is a big bird, so it can take on the seasoning. And once you brine it and inject it, that prevents you from having to add a lot of extra seasoning to it. We have just some extra apple juice because we're going to do 3 cups of apple juice. We have some fresh black peppercorns. Some bay leaves. Love bay leaves. They just add an extra little bit of flavor. We have some oranges. We have some fresh parsley. And my parsley, I've already washed it, so it's dripping a little bit, so I'm just trying to let the excess water come off. But we have some fresh parsley. And we have some garlic. So very simple marinade, like I said before, a brine. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna mix all of this up, pour it over our turkey, and then we're gonna let it sit for about 24 hours. So what I'm gonna do to make it a little bit simple, and I know sometimes when I put my bag down a little bit, I know sometimes when you do a brine that they say, you know, heat up the water first, let it cool down, but you don't have to do that because you're going to let it marinate for about 24 hours. Everything is going to come together really nicely, so you don't have to go and mix the stuff on the hot you don't have to boil it first, I'm sorry, and then add it to it. So I'm going to just take my water. I'm going to add the salt. And at the beginning of this video, the recipe will be there, and it will also be down in the description box as well. I'm going to add the other salt. We're going to add our bay leaves. Salt our bay leaves. We're going to add our peppercorn, our black peppercorn. So, and then we're going to add our apple juice with the brown sugar. And then we're going to take our other apple juice and just add it to. And we're going to give it a nice kind of mix so everything can get incorporated in it. So we're going to mix. And if you make a little bit of mess, that's fun. It's the holidays. It's all about fun and enjoying family. And it's also, you know, getting in the kids with your kitchens, getting in the kitchen with your kids. So if you get in the kitchen with your kids, you know, we all know that sometimes kids like to make a mess, and that's the fun of it. So if you spill or drop anything, don't get too upset. Just use it, go with it, and just enjoy. So I'm going to sit this to the side. And I'm going to cut our orange in half. Love it. Nice pretty color. And what I'm going to do is once I cut it in half, I'm going to squeeze a little bit of the juice onto the turkey. Oh, and I forgot to mention at the beginning, our turkey was thawed in the refrigerator. It took about 2.5 days to completely thaw it. Then I unwrapped it, cleaned it off. I know there's a lot of controversy is if you should wash poultry or if you shouldn't, but I like to wash it. So I went ahead and, you know, rinsed it off with a little bit of vinegar, a little bit of water, kind of cleaned the turkey, and then I went and got the inside. So remember that the turkeys have the turkey neck as well as the gizzards and the giblets in the inside. So you want to remove that from your turkey, but you want to keep it because you can use that for your gravy, or, you know, your giblet gravy. If you make that for the holidays, you can use that for that. So I'm going to take some orange. I'm gonna move the turkey. I'll move it this way and you all can see. Open my bag, and I'm just going to squeeze the juice of the oranges in there, you can see. And I'm just gonna put the, once I squeeze it, I'm gonna just drop the whole orange in there, skin and all. Squeeze. And you don't have to squeeze all of them. I think I'll just do 2 and let that citrus. And anytime you add citrus to a dish, so like limes or orange or lemons, the acid will start to cook the dish, and that's another reason why you add the water, because it helps to neutralize it a little bit, and you don't want to leave it in too long. So if you ever marinate something and it has like a citrus vinaigrette on it or something like that, and you see that your meat starts to turn white, then that means it's starting to cook inside of the acid. So you want to go ahead and not let it marinate too long if you're using vinegar or lemon or anything with the high acidic quality to it. So I'm just going to add that to it. And then my garlic, it's up to you. I'm just going to cut this in half and put it in there as well. But with your garlic, you can roast it ahead of time, and it just gives it a little bit of different flavor. So I am just cutting this garlic in half. If you can see, it's so pretty. And peel off as much skin as you can. But if you get a little bit of skin inside of the brine, that's fine, because our turkey is just going to soak in this, and we're going to discard all of this at the end. So just going to put all of that in there. It looks so pretty. I always sing when I do a video, so I'm going to try not to sing. This time I like to sing the words, so I'm going to try not to sing. So I have all my garlic in there. Trying to make sure I get all the skin off as much as possible. So all my garlic is added. Got a few little pieces that are hanging, so I'm going to make sure they get into our brine as well. Perfect. And then I am going to take my parsley here, and I'm just going to rough cut the parsley because I'm going to put it in there pretty whole, stems and all. So we have our parsley cut up. Looks really nice. I'm going to drop our parsley in. Then I am going to grab a whisk so that I can whisk all of our brine marinade together, and then I'm going to pour that over the turkey as well. So let me grab a whisk. So we have our whisk and our brine. And I can't talk while I'm whisking because you can't hear. So I'm going to whisk it together just so that our sugar and the peppercorn and the brown sugar all get incorporated. And we have a little bit of brown sugar left at the bottom, so I want to get that as well. So if you notice, you'll have your sweet, you'll have your salt, you'll have the sweet from the brown sugar, you'll have the sweet from the apple juice, then you have a little bit of citrus from the oranges and your salt. And then once we inject this bird, which will be our next step, it will be really delicious. So have that nice and whisked. And then the fun part. So I'm going to try to pour this without making a mess. I'm going to pull this over. I'm going to put this here. And I'm going to put our turkey here. So this is the funny part. Just a little tip. If anyone knows me, I am 4'9", so I'm really, really short. So if I hold this bag all the way up, you won't be able to see my face. So I keep pushing the bag down so that you all can see. A lot of times if I shoot videos, I end up standing on like a platform, but I'm not standing on a platform today. So I'm trying to, if you just see my head, that's why I'm only 4'9". So we have, if you see our parsley and you see our oranges and our garlic inside of the bag, and then I am going to pour the brine in and hope I do not make a mess. So I'm just gonna open my bag as much as I can. And you can find these brine bags at any grocery store. And I'm gonna hold this up and we are just gonna hope that I do not make a mess. And so I'm going to start to pour. Oh, nice. It is cooperating really nicely with me today. And with the brine, you wanna make sure that you are covering the whole turkey. So if you can see, our salt is coming out. And our turkey is in its brine. And what I'm going to do is make sure that I get everything incorporated in there. So I'm going to massage the bag a little bit, get everything mixed in, and then I'm going to put this in the refrigerator for 24 hours, let it marinate. Then we will take it out, we will inject it, we will let it rest for a couple of hours, and then we will put it in the oven and roast it. So can't wait. Okay, so we have our turkey that has been brined for 24 hours. So what I did was take it out the brine and I dried it off just a little bit. I made sure all the peppercorns and garlic and all of that stuff was off of it. We still have a little bit of parsley on it, but that's fine. So what we're going to do now is we're going to inject the turkey. Now with the injection, it's a little bit of butter, olive oil, herbs, and seasoning. We had an injection marinade donated to us, so I'm going to use that today. But you can use any injection that you would like, and that's going to season the turkey all the way through. And then we're just going to put a little bit of garlic powder, onion powder, and paprika on the top of the turkey before we put it in the oven. I'm not going to add salt because we had salt inside of our brine, and then we have salt inside of the injection also. And most of the time, any item that is stored, so like your turkey or your meat or your turkey breast, they are kept inside of a sodium preservative. So that has salt in it already. So sometimes if you wonder why your meat is extra salty, it's because it's been preserved in salt, and then you're going to add more salt to it. So we're not going to add salt today, but we are going to inject our bird. So this is the fun part. So we have our injection needle here, and then I just put marinade just in a bowl because it's easier for me to grab it that way. So I am just going to start pulling. So we have it filled, and it's not really any rhyme or reason to it. You just want to get all over the turkey. So I start in the breast, and I get the legs, and I get the wings, and you just want to inject until all your marinade is gone. And the funny part about it is you'll start to see your turkey blow up. So I think that that is so amazing. So I put it in here, and then I'm just going to start to inject. And if you see how it is swelling up, I love this process. And then after I inject it, I'm gonna let it sit for about an hour or two just to get room temperature. And then I'm gonna put it in the oven at 325 for about 3 hours. And you wanna measure your hours by the size of your turkey. So it's typically about 30 to 40 minutes per pound, I'm sorry, if you're going to roast it in the oven. If you're gonna fry it, it's a little bit less, but you still want to make sure you do it per pound. And if you see, this side is swelling up compared to this side, so it's starting to poof up with our marinade. And I'm gonna use all of it. I'm gonna inject all of it. And then what I don't get, because sometimes that needle won't get all the way down to the bottom, what I don't get, I'm going to pour it over the turkey. So right now I have 3 injections in one side of the breast. I'm going to do 3 in the other, and then I'm going to move on to the legs and the wing. And depending on how big your turkey is, you may need more marinade or injection marinade. And when you're doing this, don't be hard on yourself. Don't be so precise. It's fun. As long as your turkey is done to the proper temperature, you are good. You want to make cooking fun. Sometimes people don't like to cook because they feel like it's a lot of work and there's so much science and math to measuring. And it is. I mean, it is a process, but it still should be fun. And get creative. If you make a dish the first time and it doesn't come out just how you wanted it to come out, make it again. Make it till you are happy with it. It takes trial and error sometimes. This leg, just getting all in there. It's so funny how much the turkey swells up when you're injecting it. And you may have to, when you're pulling your marinade, depending on what you have it in, you may have to just tilt your bowl a little bit to get it all. So I'm going to have to tilt my bowl so that I can make sure I get as much marinade in the injector as possible. So that's going to be a little process, but we're going to get it. So I'm going to go to the wings now. And then I'm going to pour the rest over the turkey. So going into the wings now. And sometimes when you stick, you may get a bone. If you get a bone, just go around that bone, take it out and stick it again. Then the noise theatrics are always fun. So I'm going to tilt this a little bit just so that I can get more of the marinade. And I know when you're doing turkey, some people like to roast their turkey in a bag. That's fine. You can cover it. When I do this particular turkey, once I get it covered, I'm going to put it in the oven. I am going to cover it with foil, and then I will take the foil off towards the end to let it brown. So I'm going to come on this side so that I can get this wing here. The wing is always the hardest part, only because it has less fat on it. So it's hard to get a nice meaty piece, I would say. So I got that wing. We're gonna get the breast just a little bit more. And then I'm gonna pour the remainder over the turkey. So I'm gonna tilt a little bit, and I'm going to pull. All right. And get a little bit more in each breast. And then what's left, I'm going to kind of pour in the inside, and then I'm just going to pour it all over the turkey. All right, and like I said, I always like to let it sit and get to room temperature. I'll pull it back a little bit more so you can kind of see it. I like to let it sit for a little bit and get to room temperature before I put it in the oven. I'm just gonna put a little bit of garlic powder, onion powder, and paprika on the top of it, and then we're gonna put it in the oven, and you all will see the finished turkey here pretty soon. I'm excited for it. I think it looks good. It smelled really good when we pulled the marinade off. You could just get a nice smell from everything marrying together. You had your garlic, your herbs, your seasoning, and you also want to leave the wire on for the turkey legs. You don't want to take those off until the end. You want to definitely keep those on there because it'll help your turkey. And then you can tuck your wings in a little bit so that the tips don't get too dark for you. And I think this turkey is ready to go in the oven. Okay, everyone, our turkey is done, and it turned out very nicely. I just have it on a platter. I'm gonna make sure I get a nice close-up for you all. So what I did was roast the turkey at 325 in the oven covered for 3 hours. And then I uncovered it, turned the oven up to 425, and then roasted it about 15 minutes to get the skin crispy and get the color on it. So I basically put it in the oven. I set it and forgot it. I just let it cook. I did go in a couple of times, and some of the juices that came off the turkey I put on top to baste it a little bit. I only did that about 2 times. Other than that, I just left it covered and I let it cook, and it turned out really, really nicely. If you all can see, I had the hardest time taking it out the pan and lifting it to put it on the platter because it's so tender and so moist. So I hope you all enjoyed the turkey video. Just some tips, you know, it was basically just to give you some tips on cooking your turkey and what I like to do to my turkey. And so our next session will be a shrimp and crab au gratin, and that one will be really fun, really nice, and something different to add to your holiday spread. So once again, let's look at the turkey. And it's so funny, I had someone come by and said, oh, that turkey smells really, really good. All I'm thinking about is a nice turkey sandwich. So they said here in the house, in the Ronald McDonald house here in Jacksonville, that the smell of the turkey just made it feel warm and inviting. It kind of put them in the spirit for the holidays. So just to hear that made my day, made me kind of light up to be able to do that and be able to then now share this with the families. So I'm thinking about maybe doing some barbecue turkey sliders to go with it. I'm not sure, but last look at the turkey. And our next one will be the shrimp and crab au gratin. Thanks.